What's up YouTube? Shamu Aquatics here, bringing you guys another video. You are currently looking at my new red tail shark that I picked up this morning. So as a lot of you guys know, I had a rainbow shark in here, and to be honest, I will say I do like the red tail sharks a lot more. Now, a buddy of mine who had helped me set up this tank, he also has a 8-foot tank, but his is 280 gallons, unlike my 240 here. But yeah, that guy wanted my rainbow shark, and I was kind of like no at first, but then I thought about it and figured, you know what, I think I'd much rather have a red tail shark again. So yeah, I went ahead and gave him the rainbow shark, and then I went on the hunt for these red tail sharks, and I wanted to get one that was already a decent size, like 4 inches or bigger. And I posted in a couple local Facebook fish groups saying that I was on the lookout for some good sized red tail sharks, and almost immediately somebody reached out and said like, hey, take mine is an asshole. So yeah, I went and picked this guy up. Now in those Facebook fish groups, like technically we're not supposed to buy or sell. It's either free rehoming or trading. I didn't have anything to trade, so I just told the guy in private messages, hey, I'll just give you 50 bucks. And yeah, he was happy with that. So I went and paid $50 for this red tail shark, which isn't really bad. He's about 5 inches, and I've paid $30 for red tail sharks that were like 4 inches, so I don't think that was a bad deal at all. To me, it's worth it. These are my favorite fish, and I would pay good money for these guys, especially when they're already a good size. So yeah, I'm happy with it. On the plus side of buying adult fish from somebody, from a private person, is they know how old the fish is but when you buy them as adults from a fish store, those guys have no idea how old the fish is. But also, when I look for red tail sharks that are already a decent size, I mainly look for the ones that are like 4 to 5 inches. If I were to find one that's already like 6 inches, like fully grown, you don't know how old that fish is. But if it's like 4 to 5 inches long, good chance is that it's not older, it's not done growing, and it still has plenty of life left in it. So yeah, pretty much hit a jackpot with this guy. Very good size, 5 inches long, only a year old, so plenty of life left in him. As you can kind of see, he is still a little bit nervous. First day in the tank, typical. Just like wandering around along the glass and all that. Now, when I first went into the guy's house, into the living room to see the guy's tank, yeah, this red tail shark was beating up on the guy's goldfish. Which, no surprise there, we all know how these guys are. But I have an 8-foot tank, so there's plenty of room for these rose lines and all the other fish to get away from him. And plus, the rose lines are way too fast for this guy to beat them up. Another thing is, as a lot of you guys know, I previously had a red tail shark in my old 135-gallon tank, and I ended up deporting him out to Maryland. I ended up giving that red tail shark to Dan Heitsschuh, aka Everyday Fish Keep. Oh, you better not go in that filter outlet. I ended up giving that red tail shark to Everyday Fish Keeping, Dan Heitsschuh. But that was before I knew I was going to be setting up a 240-gallon tank. So now in this 8-foot tank, this guy's aggression should be tolerable. Plus, the bigger the tank, the less aggro these sharks tend to be. But yeah, I'm willing to put up with the aggression in this big ass tank. But so far he's been all right in this tank. Although I have a good feeling that in the next couple days, the gloves are going to come off and he's going to establish himself as the boss. Haven't really seen him mess with anybody yet. But yeah, everybody will say that whole like, oh, red tail sharks are more aggressive than rainbow sharks, and to me I think it varies, and I don't think it's genuinely like, oh yeah, red tail sharks are always more aggressive than rainbow sharks. With both species it varies, and I will say right now, the most aggressive piece of crap shark I ever had was a rainbow shark. It wasn't a red tail. But yeah, just felt like this hobby wasn't complete for me without a red tail shark present. Because everybody probably has the idea that these roseline sharks, aka Denison barbs, are my favorite fish, but nope. My favorite fish has always been the red tail sharks, with the rainbow sharks being a close second and the roselines being a close third. But I don't anticipate any aggression issues being too severe, especially with the size of this tank. And I definitely did not want to get a little tiny itty bitty one that they sell at the fish stores, because one thing I've noticed over the last 10 years is most fish stores now, the red tail sharks that they carry are not as big as they used to be. 10 years ago, 2 to 2.5 inches was the most typical size that most fish stores would carry. Nowadays, when I go to my local fish stores, the red tail sharks they sell are like 1 inch long. To me, that is way too small. I'm actually too impatient to wait for those guys to grow. Even with my roselines, I bought some of them as juveniles, but a lot of them were already a good size when I got them, but not too old. Buying a fish that's a good size but still about a year or two old, I think that's the perfect jackpot. And yes, it does cost more money, but to me it's worth it. But yeah, that's all for today's video. So like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video.